problem itself correct? Why they're doing the study, does it fill the gap, you think?
Yes.
Yes, did a very nice job. So it's just a citation, so Sabrina, would you go ahead and put that in somewhere? If you want to put it at the end of the parentheses, I don't care, that's fine. We just need to be referred to it. It probably sounds better to put it at the beginning, just because you want to know that this research at Zaylon, the problem that Zaylon found in her study, blah, blah, but you can put it at the end if you like, as long as, like, okay.
Okay.
Just a question related to citing.
Yes.
Based on that, every time I answer a question, I need to cite something.
Every
I feel
time you
like
answer a question that has to do with an article in this
Okay.
class, you are quite right.
Tell you what
So
article.
anytime you do,
You'll do it in a sentence, that's the reason we're doing this. You'll
Sure,
do it in
no,
a sentence.
I'm fine.
With the
You're
article.
always gonna be referring to it, exactly.
Yeah, just everything you've worked with is almost all based on, at least
Yeah.
for my
In
background, research and
research.
science, and
Right,
so every time I say something to somebody, I feel like I need.
yeah,
to-
because otherwise, you're fine. This is what the research by
We're talking
Taylor.
about, we're talking about an article.
okay, how about that?
There you go. All right, now, all right. Here's number 2. Okay, then the other groups are coming, so not to
Yeah,
worry.
just you
Okay,
wait.
number 2 is, go ahead.
Okay, so identify the purpose statement in a direct quote. So, therefore, this study using Levine's conservation model as a framework aimed to describe the relationship of pain, depression, and fatigue to recovery in older adults during the first 3 months after abdominal surgery. The citation.
Okay, now this is not her, does everybody agree with this, that this is the purpose statement? Excellent, it is. Now I'm going to tell you something which we have not talked a lot about. It's unfortunate that in this purpose statement, that she had to throw in the model. You don't always have the model in your purpose statement, but because she does with the date, and you do not have 1991, so you'd have to go get it to be able to do this. All you're going to have in class, this is what I'm going to think about, you only will have the article I give you. So anything else that you think has to be cited has to be a secondary citation. So what I want us to do here is, therefore this study using Levine's conservation model, take out the 1991, Sabrina. So guys that have had this is how you're going to write it. Take it out. Now after model, parentheses, as cited in, okay, Zaylon, comma, 2004, close the parentheses. Now we'll get to the other in just a minute, because at the end here, so you can take this, leave this here, take this, all this off. Isn't it?
This is why it's
You already
unfortunate.
have it, you do not duplicate.
Okay.
It has to be up here because you don't have Levine's model that was cited 1991. Therefore, you've got to say, as cited in Zaylon 2004. She has it. You don't have it. This is called a secondary source. She cited it, but you don't have the article to say it, so you can't say 1991. You have to say, because I read it in Zaylon's article, that's why it's secondary. And you will get something like this, so be sure you're comfortable with the secondary citation. It is important from APA standpoint that you understand how to cite it. Now, the reason I put it down here is she's got her parentheses. When you have 2 pages, usually it is just 1 P. If you have 2 though, then you need another P. So the pages, because you've got to cite where this came from. Okay, so those of you that had it, if you didn't have it this way, go ahead and change it. Normally, you will not have to worry about this because it's unusual in a purpose statement to have this. So this is, but when I'm asking about a theory, most of the time, this is what you're going to have to do. So is there a theory? And then we're going to have to use secondary citations. So you did a very good job. Thank you very much. So I'm going to let that group be done. And then, if you go ahead and say that. And then,
Cool.
Timothy, who's going to do your, well, I think Chandler was going to be second, and then you're third. So you've got you've got, questions 4 and 5, no, 3 and 4, and you have 5 and 6, you're good, okay? And we'll finish it. Yes, thank you, and I take these.
Are you gonna put this, so we can look at it, like on the articles to say?
Yes, she's asking me if I'll put these up on the board, and I will, yeah, thank you. Before the midterm, I'll have these up, okay, so that you know the answers, the ways that you might need to write. But you guys have done very well, so.
What about, I'm so sorry, what about the quiz for tomorrow? Is this something that?
When I'm-
Let's save it in the background.
let's get ready.
Yeah.
Let's make these big.
Even if we had a fourth person.
Yeah, she wants to make the questions.
Oh, yes, yeah. Fix my mess. Okay, what was the third question then?
So read it.
Identify the independent variables.
Okay, go ahead.
So the independent variables were pain, depression, and fatigue, and the dependent variable was recovery, return to functional status, and community. Now, I'm assuming we need to reference this, since you
Yeah.
said everything is being referenced.
Now, there's a difference between direct quote and paraphrasing, right? Direct quote, it's when you actually are verbatim quoting something from the article, then you have to use what? Page number. When it's paraphrased like this, they didn't tell you the independent variable is, then you go ahead, because you're extrapolating that from the purpose statement, you just paraphrase it, and you cite just the author and the date. You do not need page number.
But if it was a direct quote
If it's a direct quote, it requires a page number.
and
And, yeah, and your,
Does the punctuation still come after the citation?
it does.
the function, the period comes after, and the quote would go, yes, the quote goes, well, this is not a quote, so, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's
good,
correct.
man.
Everybody all right with this?
Yeah?
Understand? Okay, go ahead, Jim.
I think number 4 asked if it was a research question or hypothesis.
Okay.
Yes, it's a research question, and the research question is, what is the relation of pain, depression, and fatigue to recovery in older adults who have major abdominal surgery?
That's correct. Direct quote. Page number. Same.
Okay, so what's he missing? Just one little tiny thing.
Period of.
A period
After
after,
is-
because you're right that because it's a question, that goes in the quote, in this case. Normally your
That's not the
punctuation goes
punctuation.
after your parentheses, but he's actually, that's part of the quote. So but he has to have a period here.
Are these things that we'll be doing, like writing these out on the quiz?
Not the this will not be for the quiz, but for the midterm. That's why we're working on it.
So for those things, like if we only had 1 P, would you take off for like that? Only, like we only had 1 P?
I'm pretty strict about it, because you're gonna have your APA sheet.
Oh, okay.
You have an APA sheet, so therefore I'm pretty.
For our midterm, we'll have one?
Oh, yeah.
Right on.
Right
Okay.
on, yes.
Do you not add the as measured by functional status and self-perception of recovery in older adults? There's like something.
The dependent variables?
Here, actually,
Number 4.
There was more to it.
oh, there was more to it?
That's not a whole sentence.
Oh, it should have the whole thing. Okay, what is the relation of pain, depression, and fatigue to recovery in older adults who have major abdominal surgery? So there was more to the question?
There was more to the sentence, that
It was
sentence.
like fatigue, yeah, fatigue and recovery as measured by functional status and self-perception of recovery in older adults.
Okay.
Do you have to include?
Okay, what would
I'm
you
just
need to
curious
do?
if you needed that in there.
Well, if this is really capturing the independent and dependent variable, what did he add to it, or she add to it that, in that sentence by doing that? What did she do?
Operational definition.
She actually added part of the operational definition for that piece. So what you can do is, the ellipsis, right, you will just put 3 dots there to say, indicate that, so put 3 dots, does that make sense, that there's more there, or you write the whole thing?
It's
Oh,
in the middle,
I
it's
see.
not at the end.
I don't think he meant to do that, I think he just.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, I see where recovery is, gotcha,
It's in the
gotcha.
rec earlier today.
Okay, just remember, it's probably safer to write the entire thing. It is, it's probably safer because you wanna be sure you're getting the important elements, components in it, but in this case, because he has the independent, dependent variable stated and the population, then this would work with those three. But
So this does suffice.
as long as you, yes, as long as you got your three little, you want your dots in there. Okay, everybody okay with this, make sense? Agree with it? Yes? Okay, before you change anything, the only thing that you could do differently here is probably not have return to functional status. Because the concept is recovery. The concept is recovery. The functional status is sort of just in a little additional piece,
If we
but
would've
it wouldn't have been wrong.
If we would have written recovery from major abdominal surgery, is that wrong, still okay? Just because that's more specified?
Recovery from major, the concept's recovery, but if you had from major abdominal surgery, probably wouldn't
cool.
be wrong if it's specified that way. You wanna be careful, here's what you don't wanna do, you do not wanna include your population. In other words, in women that have had or in patients that have had, so it depends how it was worded. You're probably safer to go with just the concept. But you add the population by accident and then you don't have the dependent variable, you have that and the population. And I won't know if you know the difference. Pretty. Okay. Is it hot in here to anybody else?
It's great.
Oh, what is it? I think it's because I have this. Okay, Matt, you want to ask?
Can we clarify?
5 and 6, yeah.
Okay.
We have a quick question
Oh,
about
yes.
number 4, sorry.
Okay, did I
So-
not look at something right? Okay.
Oh, no, we were just, because we did put, for the research question, what is the relation of pain, depression, and fatigue to recovery as measured by functional status and self-perception of recovery in older adults who've had major abdominal surgery? Just to clarify, we should not include the in older adults part.
No, we're talking about two different things here. Independent, dependent variable. What I'm asking you to take.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you are
Okay.
fine to take
Okay.
exactly what the research question is in
Okay.
its entirety.
And it's, okay,
You're
okay.
safest probably that way,
Okay.
but independent, dependent variable, I want to
Don't
go
include.
here.
Okay, thank you.
No,
Excuse me.
yes,
So you don't want us to put the population there when we are differentiating between independent and dependent variable?
right, I want the independent and the dependent variable, and that's it, in sentence form, but that's it. You don't want to add anything else, because then I don't know that you know what's what.
So under this, like the dependent variable will be recovery during the first 3 months after abdominal surgery.
I think we're safest, and that was what I was trying to add, I think you're
Recovery.
safest to say just recovery, and the reason why is you're taking patients, that's really a description of your population. So you're safer just to say recovery, because that's what you're measuring as recovery. So you're safest to, does that make sense, everybody? Usually, it's not gonna, I don't know why this particular, she adds all these operational definitions, but it's good for you to differentiate at this point. So as long as you're catching this, and if you're not, let me know. Okay, does that
Nothing open.
clarify? Oh, okay. Oh, it's not open?
No, nothing wants to open. I don't know what's going on.
Go under computer. Oh.